Tales from the Consoleverse is a podcast series in which I, the off-rail gamer, read original news stories about some of our favourite video game characters, written with the assistance of AI. This week's episode, Dr. Robotnik and the Terrible Theme Park Takeover. Prelude, Rust and Regret, a Robotnik reunion. Years had passed since the last time anyone heard the clanging chaos of Scratch and Grounder. Somewhere in the forgotten corners of Robotropolis, covered in vines and neglect, the old Badnik factory lay silent. Dr. Robotnik, now sleeker, colder, and running his empire with efficient new bots, stood before the rusting gates. He scowled. "Stupid, sentimental subroutines," he muttered. He had come only to recover a forgotten component buried in the factory's databanks, or so he told himself. As the heavy doors creaked open, the smell of scorched oil and old metal hit him. The halls were littered with bits of scrap and long-dead prototypes. And then, faintly, he heard it. "Hop, 2, 3, 4, hop, 2, 3, ow! You stepped on my foot, dummy!" "I don't have feet, Scratch. You stepped on your own foot." Robotnik froze. From around the corner, a tall, feathered robot with a chicken's head and a short tank-treaded bot with a drill for a nose came bumbling into view, still arguing, still somehow operational. Scratch stopped in his tracks. "Dr. Robotnik!" Grounder's eyes bulged. "It's really you. I told you he wasn't just a bad dream we had." Robotnik blinked. "You're still here?" Scratch saluted, his joints creaking. "Sir, Scratch and Grounder reporting for duty. We've been guarding the factory just like you ordered. 8 years ago." Grounder saluted too, then dropped the salute and gave Robotnik a hopeful smile. "Did we do good?" The doctor stared at them. Paint faded, circuits flickering, parts clearly scavenged from vending machines and a toaster. "I didn't order you to guard anything," he said flatly. "I abandoned this place, and I abandoned you." Scratch frowned, his beak twitching. "Oh!" Grounder drooped. "But we thought maybe you'd come back. We saved a spot for you in the recharge pool, right next to the evil bubble bath." Robotnik was silent. He'd built smarter bots since then, smoother, faster, more obedient, but none of them had ever called him Sir like they meant it. None had ever tried to build him a birthday trap 2 years in a row, even if it always blew up the wrong person. None had waited for him. "Why?" he asked quietly. "Why did you stay?" Scratch's voice was small. "Because you made us." "You built us," Grounder added, "and we thought maybe someday you'd want us back." Something shifted in Robotnik's chest. Something old. Something he had tried to replace with steel and algorithms. "Well," he muttered, rubbing his mustache, "you've rusted yourself into a useless pile of junk, but you're still my pile of junk." Scratch gasped. "Does that mean—" "We're back on the evil team," Grounder cheered. Robotnik grunted. "One mission, trial basis, and no banana pill traps in my lab." Both bots saluted again, then immediately tripped over each other and crashed into a wall. Robotnik groaned, but quietly he smiled. As he guided the rust buckets towards the exit, he muttered, "Maybe the new bots could use some personality upgrades." And for the first time in years, the halls of the old factory echoed with a sound Robotnik had forgotten. Laughter. Chaotic, clanging, ridiculous laughter. Chapter 1. Dr. Ivo Robotnik stood on a nasty observation tower, his monocle glinting in the sun as he gazed out over Whirlwind World, the most popular theme park in Mobius. Colourful banners flapped in the breeze, roller coasters twisted like serpents, and thousands of children screamed, not in terror, but in joy. Robotnik scowled. Look at them, happy, carefree. Disgusting. Beside him, Scratch adjusted his oversized chicken helmet and scratched his chin. So, what's the plan, boss? Funnel cake trap? Exploding bumper cars? Or my personal favorite, evil corn dogs? Grounder rolled up, drill whirring. We could rig the teacups with rocket boosters again. Robotnik sighed. No, you imbeciles, we're going bigger this time. This theme park is a symbol of joy and freedom, so we're going to turn it into a monument to my genius. He pulled a lever, unveiling a holographic diagram of the park, overlaid with towers, conveyor belts, and giant mechanical fists. I'm going to transform Whirlwind World into Robotnik Land. And once I control the park, I'll use its communication tower to broadcast my demands across Mobius. Scratch gasped. We'll finally be on TV again. Grounder clapped. We'll be famous. Infamous, you dolts, Robotnik growled. Now move. We strike at dusk. Chapter 2. Operation Funnel Fear. As the sun dipped below the roller coasters, Robotnik and his henchbots infiltrated the park disguised as maintenance contractors. Scratch wore overalls 3 sizes too small, and Grounder had a moustache glued to his faceplate. See? Scratch whispered. Totally incognito. Grounder tripped over a trash can and accidentally launched his drill into a cotton candy stand. Maintenance? He blurted. Standard cotton candy recalibration procedure. Robotnik groaned and hurried them along. They reached the central control tower, hidden beneath the iconic spinning Ferris wheel. Inside, Robotnik plugged in his override device. Sparks flew. Screens flickered. Carnival music warped into a dramatic organ melody. Excellent, he purred. Initiating park domination protocol. Giant animatronic mascots, previously singing and dancing, jerked upright and began stomping toward the crowd. Robotnik's face lit up on every jumbo screen. Attention, inferior lifeforms, your day of fun is officially over. Whirlwind World is now under the glorious control of Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Your roller coasters will now scream for me. Your churros belong to science. Children screamed. Parents fainted. A hot dog stand exploded for no clear reason. Robotnik threw back his head and laughed. Ha ha ha! I love the smell of panic in the evening. Chapter 3. Theme Park Mayhem. Scratch and Grounder were in charge of renovations. Scratch commandeered the tilt-a-whirl, replacing its safety rails with spring-loaded boxing gloves. Now it's tilt-a-wallop. Grounder tried to convert the carousel into a robot manufacturing line, but accidentally made it launch spinning fiberglass horses into the sky like missiles. Oops! Flying pony strike! Meanwhile, Robotnik installed a new ride, the Dreadnought Drop. Passengers were lifted 200 feet in the air, shown a slideshow of Robotnik's achievements, then dropped into a pool of slime. Perfect, Robotnik cackled. They'll learn as they fall. But amidst the chaos, something was off. One small girl, about 6 years old, stood in the middle of the plaza, arms crossed, unimpressed. Her balloon read, I heart Sonic. Robotnik narrowed his eyes. You there, tiny rebel. Why aren't you fleeing? She stared up at him. This park was better before you showed up. Sonic would have made it fun. Scratch leaned in. Want us to throw her into the haunted house? Grounder added. It's extra haunted now. I stuffed it full of angry vacuum cleaners. Robotnik paused. Then quietly he said, No. Leave her. He watched the girl walk away, defiant, unimpressed, and for the first time in a long while, Dr. Robotnik felt uncertain. Chapter 4. Sabotage and Sentiment. Scratch and Grounder were busy trying to replace the park's mascot with a 50-foot dancing Robotnik statue, complete with mustache hydraulics, when things started to unravel. The rides began malfunctioning. The control system locked up, the broadcast tower fizzled and sparked. Grounder screamed, "Well, I think someone's hacking us." On the screen, a familiar blue blur zipped by. Robotnik clenched his fists. Sonic. Sure enough, Sonic had arrived, chili dog in one hand, smirk on his face. "You sure know how to throw a party, Eggman," he quipped, dodging a mechanical arm, "but you really shouldn't have messed with the teacups." Robotnik snarled, "I will not be defeated by sugar and speed." He turned to Scratch and Grounder. "Engage the anti-Sonic protocol." Scratch saluted. "You got it, boss." Grounder readied his drill. "Time to screw up that hedgehog." The duo charged forward and immediately fell into the dunk tank they'd set up earlier. Sonic zipped past. "Still the best slapstick duo in town." Robotnik grabbed a wrench and hurled it at a lever. The mechanical mascot came to life, chasing Sonic through the park, smashing booths and looping over coasters. But Sonic was too fast, too clever, and too cool. In minutes he had reprogrammed the system, freed the park staff, and disabled the broadcast. Robotnik collapsed into a malfunctioning bumper car. "This was supposed to be my moment." Chapter 5. When the rides stopped spinning. The sun was rising over the chaos of Whirlwind World. Parents were comforting their kids. Mascots had been returned to song mode. The cotton candy stand had somehow gained sentience and was offering therapy, and in the shadows of the bumper cars, Scratch and Grounder sat beside their dejected creator. "We're sorry, boss," Scratch said. "We messed up again." "Yeah," Grounder added. "We can't even take over a merry-go-round without setting it on fire." Robotnik was silent for a moment. Then softly he said, "You know, you two are completely, utterly incompetent." The bots nodded. "But you're loyally incompetent." They looked up. "I've built smarter bots," Robotnik went on. "Deadlier ones. But none of them ever tried to build me a birthday ride out of popcorn machines." Scratch blinked. "You remember that?" "Of course I do," Robotnik muttered. "It smelled like melted butter and exploded in 4 directions. But it was effort." Grounder sniffled. "Does this mean you still want us around?" Robotnik sighed. "It means we're going to fix this mess. Then maybe, try a different approach." Scratch perked up. "Like what?" Robotnik stood, dusting himself off. "Maybe we build our own theme park. From scratch. Robotnikland 2.0. No Sonic, no kids, no churros." "Just us?" Grounder asked. Robotnik hesitated. Then, "Yes, just us." The trio stood, battered but unified, as the sun rose over the chaos they'd created. Robotnik smiled faintly. "After all, no great evil was ever done alone." Scratch saluted. "Where do we start, boss?" Robotnik gestured towards the horizon. "First we find a swamp. Then we find a roller coaster. And then we find redemption." Grounder raised his hand. "Can we stop for waffles on the way?" Robotnik rolled his eyes. "Fine." Together they walked off into the sunrise. One mad genius, 2 ridiculous robots, and the memory of the worst theme park takeover in history. Epilogue. 1 month later. In the middle of nowhere, a sign stood half-finished, made from scrap metal and dreams. "Coming soon, Robotnikland 2.0, no refunds, no rules." Below it, a roller coaster made of mining carts, a food cart built from broken vending machines, and a towering, slightly off-balance statue of Robotnik holding a chili dog. Scratch stood proudly beside it. "Think Sonic'll come?"
Robotnik crossed his arms. He always comes. Grounder nodded.
Then we'll be ready. With waffles.
And deep down, Dr. Robotnik felt it again. That ridiculous, dangerous thing called hope. The end.